Okay, so in the business world, you hear these two words thrown around all the time: procurement and purchasing. And look, for a lot of people, they sound like the exact same thing, right? Just a fancy way of saying buying stuff. But as we're about to find out, one is just a simple action, while the other, well, the other is a massive strategy that can literally make or break a company. So, what is the deal here? Are purchasing and procurement really the same thing? It's a totally fair question because let's be honest, in day to day talk, we all use them interchangeably. But here's the thing: in a business context, getting them mixed up isn't just a little slip up, it's the difference between just spending money and strategically investing it. All right, to really get this, let's start with the one we're all familiar with in our own lives, right? The simple act of purchasing. Okay, so purchasing at its heart is all about the transaction. That's it. The need has already been figured out. The company knows exactly what it wants. So the purchasing team's job is just to execute, place the order, pay the bill, get the stuff. It's a very reactive cycle and it's focused on one simple thing: getting that transaction done. But, and this is the key takeaway, that simple act of buying, it's just one single piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. An important piece, no doubt, but to see the whole picture, we've got to zoom out. And that zoom out brings us to the big one: procurement. See, if purchasing is that one little puzzle piece, procurement is the entire strategic framework, the whole puzzle box, basically. Because, you see, procurement isn't just about the buy, not at all. It's the whole strategic game, from start to finish. It actually starts before a need is even set in stone. It's about asking the big questions. What do we really need here? Who are the absolute best suppliers out there? What's the best deal we can possibly negotiate? It's all about building long-term relationships, not just making a quick one-and-done purchase. And this is where it all clicks into place, right? Look at this. Purchasing is reactive. It just fills an order that someone else decided on. Procurement, on the other hand, is proactive. It's looking ahead, analyzing future needs. One is purely transactional. The other is a long-term strategy. One just manages orders. The other manages entire relationships. This is what we mean when we say it's a shift from just a simple task to a core business strategy. So, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how does this big, complex strategic thing actually work? Well, a really solid procurement strategy is built on three essential pillars. Think of them as the legs of the stool that hold the whole thing up. And here they are. It's a really simple but super powerful framework: the three P's of procurement. That's people, process, and paperwork. Each one is absolutely critical, so let's dive into each of them real quick. First up, you've got people. And let me tell you, procurement is never a solo mission. It's a full-on team sport. You've got your procurement specialists, the accounts payable team, the folks who actually need the goods in the first place. And hey, when you're talking about really high-value purchases, you've got even more people getting involved to sign off on every little detail. It really is a group effort. All right, next up is process. Because you can have the best team in the world, but if you don't have a clear step-by-step process, it's just chaos. A solid process is like the playbook for the whole team. It makes sure everyone knows what they're supposed to do, it keeps costs in check, and it makes sure supplies show up right on time. And last, but definitely not least, we have paperwork. Now, I know, it sounds boring, but do not sleep on this one. Keeping great, accessible records is the bedrock of accountability. It's like a ledger of knowledge that tracks everything: how suppliers are doing, when payments went out, all of it. This creates that critical paper trail you need for any audits or, if a dispute comes up. Honestly, it's like the company's memory. Okay, so we've nailed down what procurement is, and we've got the three Ps. But where does all this fit into the even bigger picture? Let's zoom out one more time and see where procurement lives inside the entire supply chain. This really lays it out perfectly. Think of procurement as the whole puzzle. Sourcing, which is the process of finding and checking out suppliers, that's one key piece. And purchasing, the actual act of buying, that's another piece. They're both super important, but they are just parts of the whole procurement strategy. And here you can see the whole family tree, basically. At the very top, you've got supply chain management. That's the whole shebang, from raw materials all the way to the final customer. Now, tucked under that big umbrella are key functions. One is procurement, which we've been talking all about. Another is logistics, shipping, warehousing, all that. So yeah, procurement is a huge, huge part of the supply chain, but it's not the entire thing. So, after all this, you might be thinking, why does this distinction even matter so much? What's the real world consequence of getting it wrong? Well, it turns out the price you pay for this kind of confusion is incredibly high. Look, when a company thinks of strategic procurement as just simple purchasing, things go wrong fast. You get huge inefficiencies, you start overpaying for things, and all these little costly errors start chipping away at your bottom line. And what's worse? A simple mistake, like a late payment, can totally wreck a strategic relationship you've built with a key supplier. It's a big deal. Yeah, this quote from the MVC Logistics Academy really says it all. A disorganized procurement process results in inefficiencies and potentially very costly errors. It's just a powerful reminder that getting this stuff right isn't just about being neat and tidy. It's fundamental to the financial health of the business. So we want to leave you with a question, and it ties right back to that third P, paperwork. Whether you're thinking about your business or even just a project you're working on yourself, it's worth asking, how strong is your paper trail? The answer to that question, well, it might tell you more than you think.